You asked, and today I'm answering everything. I put a call out asking you all to ask me anything, and you did. Some of you got really deep and introspective with your questions. Some of you got nosy, and some of you got a little spicy. But I did literally ask you to ask me anything, so today I'm going to be answering your questions while doing my makeup. No fillers, just probably a bit of oversharing. Hey all, it's Linda. Welcome back to my channel. Like I said, for today's video, I am doing an Ask Me Anything. You all submitted your questions on Instagram stories and on my YouTube community page. And I'll be honest, I was not expecting this many questions. And you asked good questions. Like I put in the prompt, if you will, I was like, look, ask me anything, but bonus points awarded if you ask me questions that are unique or interesting. And you did. And I was so excited because I have to be honest, guys, like when I do these, I love doing them. But sometimes I'm tired of answering the same questions over and over and over again. And some of the questions feel like, I don't want this to sound rude, they feel like a little boring to me. And I want to answer like the weird ones, the ones that actually make me think. Those are my favorites to answer. So I'm going to be doing my makeup today, but not just doing my makeup. There's something that I want to dupe the vibes of. And I've been trying to like kind of dupe the vibes lately on like my Instagram and TikTok. So I'm going to be trying to dupe the vibes of this look. This is a look I saw posted on Chokehold's page and I loved it so freaking much. It's so beautiful and it's only using the Chokehold palette, which I've been wanting to play with again. So we're going to jump right into it. By the way, I'm not necessarily going to be discussing all the makeup that I'm using and when I'm using it. Everything's going to be linked in the description box down below. We're getting to the first question. Okay, what are some piercings you would love but maybe will never actually get? All of them. Guys, it's so weird because I have tattoos, but I am like deathly afraid of the idea of getting a piercing. And it's solely because of the pain. It's just because of the pain, which is so weird because the pain of a piercing, like yes, there's healing time, but the pain of a piercing does not last that long. Meanwhile, tattoos can take like upwards of like 12 hours. You know what I mean? If you, I'm sorry, the longest tattoo I've ever had took 12 hours. Not in one sitting. That was in 2 sittings. But like, it's so strange for me. Like, honestly, there is nothing I love more than when somebody has a stack of earrings, like where they just can, you know, make all these different combinations and everything like that. Meanwhile, I just have 2 piercings on each ear and they are so uneven because each time I jumped a mile when they were pierced. You know what I mean? Like I'm not good at that. So pretty much all of them. But if I were to get a piercing, other than, like I said, stacking my ears, I don't know. I can't figure it out because the thing is like, I used to always want a center lip ring. I always wanted a center lip ring, not like a piercing, not like, what is this called? This is a labrae. No, this is labrae. This one. But I always wanted a ring there. I used to wear a fake ring there often and it was so freaking cute and I loved it. But yeah, I just couldn't. What is my dream place to live? So this is hard to say because this question has definitely changed over time because my dream place to live used to be Florida. Like I previously was saying that I wanted to move to Orlando, Florida, to a very specific area of Orlando, Florida even. And most people assume that it was like to be closer to the Disney parks. And don't get me wrong, that is very much like something I really, really love and enjoy. But I really clicked with like downtown Orlando when I visited there a few times. And I really I loved the vibe of it. I was like, the first time I visited was unfortunately shortly after the shooting that took place there at the Pulse nightclub. And to see the way that the whole town and whole community came together to be very outwardly loud, supportive of the LGBTQIA plus community really like hit something in me hard in like a special way. And I was like, you know what, if this is a community that's so supportive and wonderful, that's fantastic. But Florida has never been known for their like progressive views really in general. Now, Orlando is different than that, but I don't know that I want to be a part of a state that differs so drastically from my like, you know, from my morality views, you know what I mean? So I have no idea. Like, I don't know. It kind of baffles me now. I do think that I'm going to wind up staying in the United States. I loved Germany when I went to visit so much. Like I loved Berlin and Leipzig so much. It hurts thinking about it, but I don't know that I'd want to live there. I don't know. So tell me in the comments, what is your dream place to live? One thing that I will say is on my YouTube community page, the question that got the most upvotes was, tell us all about your attraction to goth, when, where, why, and how. And there was another similar question that's like, I've been curious about your goth journey. Here's the thing, I have a full video coming about that soon, and the only reason I'm making it into a full video instead of answering it here is because it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. I've been assembling pictures from I call it the like before and after, because all I will say in this video is that I did not come out of the womb with perfect black eyeliner blasting Susie and the Banshees, okay? I was somebody who developed an attraction a little bit later in life than some other people. So I do want to talk to you all about that journey, because I think it's worth telling, to be honest. So please, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time to subscribe and stay tuned for that one, because I am already very, very excited about doing that one from the research I've been doing on myself. So somebody asked me, if money were not a factor, what would you be doing right now? I.e., would you still work at your current job or do something completely different? Also, there was a question for what is my full-time job? And I have stated that, like, I don't need to tell you guys where I work, but I do work as a full-time social media manager in a corporation, in a business that is nothing to do with the beauty community whatsoever. That is my 9-to-5 job. Would I be doing something different? So it's hard to say, because I've been doing that for a very long time now. For almost 20 years, that has been my career. And I've loved doing it so, so, so much. It has just made me so incredibly happy. And I feel like it's something that's constantly changing, right? Because social media is never the same. And while that feels like frustrating sometimes when it comes to like makeup stuff, because it's always like, join this new channel, do this new thing, I feel like it's also really exciting, you know, because with my full-time job, it's different all the time and it's changing all the time. It's not the same. So I don't know that I would. I don't know. I'm a nerd. I love my genre, like my lane, if you will. So I did go to school and I graduated with a degree in marketing with a focus in advertising. I thought I was going to be like an ad agent. I thought I was going to be a media buyer and a media planner and things like that. And once I actually saw that world, I was like, hell no, because that's kind of like, agency world is completely different than what I do. And agencies are a little more cutthroat, a little more like, we work hard, we play hard, meaning like we work 90 hours a week and then we get really drunk to forget that we work 90 hours a week. So all that to say, I'm happy with the lane that I'm in. And honestly, if money were not a factor, I probably would still be doing the same thing. That feels kind of cool to say. This is very, very specific, but someone said they had 2 questions, okay? What is on your bucket list? And then what is one word that comes to mind to describe Australia? And it's really strange because those 2 are similar for me, because one word I would use to describe Australia, I guess bucket list is 2 words, so I'm not sure that counts, but Australia is on my bucket list. As I'm answering these questions, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I seriously want you to comment down below your answers to these questions. So like, what is your bucket list vacation? Like, I know this isn't asking, you know, just vacations. This is asking my bucket list in general, but like, where are your bucket list destinations? Because I'll tell you mine. Australia is a huge one for me. That is a massive, massive one for me. I've always wanted to visit Australia. The flight is what makes me nervous. I'm not a good flyer, even if the flight is an hour. So the fact that that is like 24 hours scares the living crap out of me, if I'm being honest. But got so excited. But my other bucket list trip destinations are Rwanda. I want to go to Rwanda really badly. My favorite animal in the whole wide world is a lowland mountain gorilla. I love mountain gorillas so much, so much. And in Rwanda, they have trips where you can be taken by a guide, of course, to see lowland mountain gorillas in the wild. And you can visit Diane Fossey's, her conservatory and things like that, like everything that is in that area that Diane Fossey did. Diane Fossey is like the Jane Goodall for gorillas, in case you didn't know. And it just, I don't know, it really strikes me as something that would be absolutely beautiful to see. I also really want to go to Japan. I want to go back to Germany so badly. England, Ireland, Scotland. Guys, I've only been overseas once. And once is not enough. It is not enough. And I really want to go back overseas. Oh my gosh. Tell me your bucket list vacations, but also, where is the coolest place not in the United States that you have been? And if you're not in the United States, like obviously just answer like, you know, where's the coolest place that you've been in general? Because I I need to travel. I'm starting to get that really big bug for traveling in general. And not just traveling, but traveling overseas. Like, I want to go overseas. I want to experience everything. So I feel like this question is a bit spicy. And again, I want to know what you guys have to say about this because I'm very curious. Someone said, do you still love Melt? A lot of people have lost interest in the brand. Any comment on this? I still very much love Melt. Guys, without sounding like too much of a stan, which I am, Melt is still, as of right now, my favorite makeup brand as a whole. I love their artistic direction. I love the palettes that they're choosing to do. I feel like are very intentional. Like, as much as I love some of these indie brands that are just like coming out with these unique palettes, like sometimes it can feel overwhelming when there's one palette coming out every month. I feel like Melt is really intentional with their releases, which I really, really like and I really appreciate a lot. And I wish more brands were as intentional, you know what I mean? And not coming out with you don't need to come out with a release every single solitary month to stay relevant, or you shouldn't. If more thought, I feel like, is put into products, then, you know, it doesn't need to have something every single month. And I feel like Melt, like, their vibe is very much my vibe. They're kind of like slightly spooky aesthetic, but at the same time, I love that they have eyeshadow palettes and eyebrow products and lipsticks and lip masks and mascara and eyelashes. Like, they have so many different kinds of products, because when a brand is only one kind of product, I feel like it's also like it gets to sort of be one note after a while. And I love seeing how different brands interpret different kind of products. Also, this color, so I used Blood Oath, which looks like this dark, intimidating brick red, but I feel like it's really beautiful just kind of as this like wash in the crease. That's so pretty. Someone said, what is the weirdest dream you have ever had? Okay, so hear me out. Let me talk first about the silliest dream I've ever had, but it's also the first dream that I ever remember having, okay? I was in kindergarten. And I remember it so clearly. It is so strange. Okay, so hear me out. In kindergarten, I had a dream that we had a parade outside of our house all of a sudden. And it was like really cool. And I ran outside and I was watching this parade come down our small, very suburban street. And I was really, I was excited, but I was a little bit scared. So I decided to hide behind. Does anyone remember, and I feel like they still exist, they must, there were these electrical boxes that were huge that would sit on a front lawn sometimes, and this sat in between ours and the neighbor's property. So it was huge enough that I was hiding behind it and watching this parade go by. And first things I saw was a dragon, and it was breathing fire, and I was so scared of it that I hid. And then the dragon came up to me and then started licking me like a puppy, and I was like, oh my God. This thing that I was so afraid of a minute ago, I have no reason to be afraid of it. That is so cool. And then right after that, the dream flashed. And suddenly I saw, this is so specific. Our kindergarten class had a class photographer who would come in. And I have no idea this gentleman's real name, but he asked us to call him Mr. Tuna Fish. But I see Mr. Tuna Fish coming down the road and I went, Mr. Tuna Fish. And he came over to me like this and he wanted to give me a big hug. And then he hugged me so hard and he squeezed me until it hurt. And then I woke up screaming. That showed me that the thing that I loved and the thing that I trusted was something actually scary. So flip-flop. Any therapists out there want to therapize about what that's about? Because that's low-key kind of crazy, right? Like, I remember that dream so clearly. It's not even funny. Like, oh my God, I remember it so clearly. This is a vibe so far. And guys, I've used two colors. I've only used Undressed, which is this kind of bare one, and then Blood Oath. I used it again, like lightly in the crease, and then I packed it on the inner and outer corner. Ooh. Okay, but I also said that I wanted to talk about a reoccurring dream that I've had. Oh. Okay, so reoccurring dream that I have had for as long as I can remember. And it's never like the same exact thing every time, but it is the same vibe and the same feeling and the same like end result. Okay, so I have had a dream more than once, like actually many times, that I witness, not I'm in, but I witness a plane crash. Okay, that I witness a plane crash, and for some reason I know that I am the only one who can help, and I have to go and like help these people out of a plane. This has happened to me so many times, to the point that I'm not going to lie. Like well, first of all, it's a big reason I don't love flying. But whenever I'm driving, like I live quite close to an airport, and whenever I'm driving and I see planes that have just taken off or are landing and they're flying quite low, there's a part of me that my heart stops every time and I go, oh, is this the time? Is this when it happens? And it's so strange to me. It's so strange that the dream is never like, I'm knock on wood that I'm never in the plane when it happens, but that I always see it happening and then I have to rush over and I have to help. And I want to help everybody. So just very interesting. What about you guys? Do you have any recurring dreams? I always think recurring dreams are interesting. And again, it's not like I'm having the same exact dream over and over. It's just like the same theme. By the way, thank you guys so much genuinely for asking like cool and interesting questions. Like I know I already said that, but like I have to admit certain questions that I'm kind of tired of hearing. And I know it's coming from people who maybe have just tuned into my channel for the first time, which I'm so excited about. But like so many people, you know, like what is your full-time job? How did you meet your husband? What advice would you give to somebody starting YouTube for the first time? No, I want you to get weird, like really freaking weird. Like, what is it? If you could only have one food condiment for the rest of your life, what will it be? How many of you are ready to unsubscribe right now because it's mayonnaise? I feel like mayonnaise is going to be, oh my God, this color. I feel like mayonnaise is going to get so many people so angry because I feel like if you don't like mayonnaise, you think it's like the most disgusting thing that has ever existed on this earth. But let me tell you, I love mayonnaise. I love it, okay? Look, I love it in potato salad. I love dipping French fries in mayonnaise. I don't want a sandwich, deli meat sandwich, that does not have mayonnaise on it. A burger without mayonnaise? A black bean burger without mayonnaise? Are you crazy? No, give it to me. I just absolutely freaking love it. And I know that's an unpopular opinion because I feel like most people will be like ketchup, or guess what? I also like ranch dressing. I know a lot of people have very strong opinions about ranch dressing. I love it. But yeah, it would be mayonnaise. It would be mayonnaise. So again, what is yours? What is yours? Oh my God. You know what? Even if like, I almost want to say like, maybe I wouldn't even say mayonnaise so much as like garlic aioli, but I mean, it's technically mayonnaise just with garlic. You know what I mean? Feel like I just over blended a scotch out here on the edge and that's making me upset. Since you went cruelty free, what brand do you miss the most / wish would become cruelty free? And also, is there one product that you have not found a good cruelty free replacement for? Also, do you still use your cruelty-free makeup off camera? I only use cruelty-free makeup, guys, like period. I'm only using cruelty-free makeup. I still have one piece of non-cruelty-free makeup in my collection. I've been completely honest about that. It is a MAC Mineralized Skin Finish that is probably close to 20 years old, if I'm being honest. And I use that very rarely, but that is the only non-cruelty-free product I still have in my collection. But as far as which brands that I would love to see go cruelty free, it's funny because my first answer is usually MAC because I really loved MAC back in the day. Oh my God, this is so pretty. I love this gold. But I used to love MAC back in the day, but like I don't love them as much anymore. It's not that I don't like them. It's just that like they don't do as much for me as they used to. So I wonder what, you know what? I feel like the answer to that maybe would be Sephora collection because the Sephora collection stuff is not cruelty free, but I do like the price point of it. I wish it was cruelty free, you know what I mean? Because also like, I feel like just in general, they have such an opportunity to be, like any brand has the opportunity to be. I know people have various opinions on cruelty free and everything like that. But I would love to see Sephora collection be cruelty free. I don't really have an interest in like all of the luxury brands. Like I don't have an interest in Dior or Danessa Myricks, if that's considered to be whatever, or Givenchy. I don't have an interest in those. So it doesn't bother me that, you know, they're not cruelty free because I'm not going to buy them anyway. But maybe it would be MAC because I feel like MAC is still so accessible. You know what I mean? Like they're in a lot of malls where you can actually go and touch and play with the products, which is kind of hard to find now. So maybe it would be MAC. And as far as one cruelty-free or one product that is not cruelty-free that I've not yet found a dupe for. That is MAC Fix Plus. I've talked about this so many times that, like, you know, everyone said the NYX bear with me, or people say this or they say that. There's nothing that has felt to me as refreshing as MAC Fix Plus did. I loved Fix Plus so much. It really, like, oh, it was just my perfect product ever. So this is going to sound presumptuous of me, but I did get a few questions that was like, what would your perfect makeup palette would be? Like, if I were to come out with an eyeshadow palette, what colors would it be? And like, what vibe would it be? And everything like that. I know this sounds super cheesy and again, presumptuous, but like, I very much have a clear idea of what an eyeshadow palette would look like should I have ever had the chance to collab. But I don't know. I'm still kind of holding out that maybe that actually would happen someday. I don't know. I genuinely don't think it will. And I'm not saying that to like down myself, but I do have a rather small following. I don't think that that'll happen for me. But I want to hold out that hope. And I do have a full ass Pinterest board. It's marked private, so you can't see it. But I have a full ass Pinterest board of what it would look like, what the vibes would be, what kind of colors the packaging would be, what kind of colors each eyeshadow would be. Like, I have a very clear idea in my head, and it would only work with the right kind of brand. And I don't know. I want to hold out that hope that it's going to happen. But somebody did ask a really cool question. Let's see. How did they word it? It was really cool. Oh, if you started your own makeup brand, what would be the first product you would launch and why? I feel like I would want to launch lipsticks first, because I genuinely feel like you can be 10 times more put together with lipstick. Like, you can wear no makeup, and it would be lip products, because I always wear a lip liner. I'm never without a lip liner, so it would be lip liner and lipstick, okay? And not liquid lipstick. It would be bullet lipsticks, because I just feel like they're more universal. I feel like they're easier to work with. And I don't know, just all different colors, from like the nudest of nudes to like purple, green, yellow, everything, like bright colors, dark colors. Like, I think that would be it. I can't talk while doing liquid liner, so I'll be right back. So I do have to say, by the way, I'm going to be using the blush and highlighter from the Chokehold palette too. I do have to say that some of the questions were definitely like, when I say deeper, you know, things like, what do you think we can do to help the political climate in the US? And guys, I'm no expert, okay? I'm no expert. Here's what I'm going to say though, is speak loudly. I believe in speaking loudly and proudly for the things that you believe in, and standing up for those causes however works for you. There are some people who are not going to feel comfortable if they would like to protest what's going on right now. They don't feel comfortable going and marching in the streets, okay? Maybe it's for safety, maybe it's for anxiety, whatever it might be. And I will never judge somebody for that, ever, ever, ever. But maybe you can afford to donate $10 to, you know, services that are helping those causes, you know what I mean, that are helping the causes you care most about. Like, if you're nervous about the rights of the LGBTQIA plus community, maybe you want to donate to the Trevor Project, or, you know, things like that, you know, just help however you can. Maybe you want to volunteer to like give protesters water or snacks or things that'll keep them healthy and safe. You know what I mean? I believe that there are ways that you can speak out without directly marching in the streets, because I do understand and respect that that causes a lot of people some kind of anxiety, and people should never be forced to be pushed into that. But I do believe in speaking up when and how you feel comfortable, because I feel like there are a lot of marginalized communities that need us to speak up right now on their behalf. You know what I mean? While I do not specifically talk politics on my page, really, I think it's pretty obvious to most who would watch me that I am a firm believer in, you know, everybody deserves the same rights. I am a firm believer that immigrants are a good thing for our country, a wonderful thing, a necessary thing for our country. This country was built on the backs of immigrants. You know, I have a whole lot of beliefs about that. And I just believe, you know, stay as calm as you can, stay as, you know, sane as you can right now, but speak out when and how you feel comfortable. And then, you know what? I want to answer a more fun question to finish. If you all don't know, I am a Disney adult. I love going to Disney World, to the point I'm going again this year. I love it. It is one of my happy places. And my favorite ride of all time, because this is relevant to the question, is Avatar Flight of Passage. There is pretty much no place in the world that I feel happier than Avatar Flight of Passage. And this question asked, what is your favorite Disney World ride other than Flight of Passage, which was more difficult for me than it should have been. I need to line my lips. Hold on. All right, when I was thinking about it, my first thought that came to mind was Haunted Mansion, because it is just vibes, right? It is spooky, ooky vibes. It is the first ride that I wanted to ride when I came to Disney World. It's the very first thing that I remember hearing about as a kid, and I was so excited to ride it. But when I thought about it, my ride that is my next favorite, that I feel like is going to be another controversial one if you've been there, are the freaking magic teacups, or the teacup party, Mad Tea Party cups, the swirling teacups. And that is because I feel such childlike glee on those things every time I ride them that I forget about everything and I start giggling like a maniac, and it is my favorite thing. It just like is a complete break from reality when you're on that ride. You're just being silly. You're being 2 years old. And I understand that it might get a lot of people not feeling so great in the tum-tum, but I freaking love it. Also, what is a red brown gloss going to look like over this? I wonder if any of these red tones are going to come out. That is cherry cola. Ooh, guys, I had so much fun doing this. I had so much fun because you were so unique with the questions that you asked. Please, please follow me on Instagram and follow me or subscribe to me on YouTube, because I'm going to be answering or asking this question again at some point soon, asking you to submit your questions. And you guys submitted such good ones. So please look out for that, because I want you to think about the questions you want to ask next. Or you can drop them in the comments down below and I will answer those. But I love how weird and unique these questions were. Thank you so much. You definitely tickled my satisfaction bone. That sounds so gross. You satisfied me, okay? You satisfied me and you made me proud. You made your mama proud. Good girl. I also freaking love this look, and I think if you know me, you know I don't usually like pink eyeshadow on myself, but I feel like this is vampy enough that it goes beyond that, and that pop of gold on the inner corner, and this lip, shut up. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'm gonna put another one up here for you on the screen that I really think that you'd like. It's along the same vibes, and I think you would dig it, so go ahead and click that. But you all can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are all Glitter Fallout. I didn't even tell you to give the video a thumbs up, because you should already know that by now. You know that, friend. You know I love you. As always and forever, you guys are super freaking rock stars. I love you so much with my whole heart. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.